Did you know that home buyers often decide if they're going to buy your home in the first 6 to 10 seconds? 6 to 10 seconds? What can you possibly see in 6 to 10 seconds? The mailbox, the driveway, the front door, the landscaping, the porch. Yeah, that's about it. I'm getting ready to give you 10 easy, inexpensive ways to ramp up the curb appeal and welcome prospective buyers into your home. My name is Leanne Johnson, and I'm a realtor with United Real Estate Solutions in the Knoxville area. Even when we were little, we had a pretty good idea of what a nice house looked like. We just didn't know that it was called curb appeal. As a seller, what you're after is a prospective buyer's first impression. Remember that 6 to 10 seconds? That's all you get to make your first impression. You need to start thinking like a buyer. Put on your buyer's thinking cap, put on your buyer's goggles, and take a look at your property as if you are a buyer. Sometimes that's hard to do. So if you take a picture, sometimes we can see things easier on a screen than we can in real life. And if that's still difficult for you to do, we all have that friend who's going to give us the honest truth, right? So bring them on board and let them help you when you are preparing your house to sell. The first area that I want to talk about is the walkway. First of all, think about where a realtor is going to put his or her lockbox on your house. That is the first area that your prospective buyers are going to see. Usually it's on the front door, so that's where we want to concentrate our efforts. So you want to create a beautiful entry. This is what people are going to see from the street when they drive by, when they walk up. If a prospective home buyer has to move a child's bike or a scooter off of the walkway to be able to get to your front door, that's not going to set a very good first impression in their minds. Make sure there's not a water hose or any other outdoor things that don't belong there. Make it easy for them to get to your front door. So speaking of the front door, that takes us to the second area that I want to talk about. Your front door often collects all sorts of dirt and crud and pollen and all those cracks and crevices. My two favorite tools when cleaning a front door are a magic eraser and a Swiffer. They always come in handy. Don't neglect the windows. If you have windows, there's a screen door or windows panels in the door, make sure you get those sparkly clean as well. Another easy way to really bring the focus to the front door of your house. Remember, we want to welcome our prospective buyers in. Another great way to do that is to add a pop of color on your front door. And you don't want a color that's going to clash with the rest of your house, but something inviting and something beautiful to just draw the eye to the front of your house. If you have window panels in your front door or a storm door, don't neglect those. You want to make sure that they are sparkly clean. Another great accent, of course, is a wreath to go on your front door. So what I'd love to see is some pictures of your front door. Go ahead and put those below in the comments. Let's take a look and see what you've got. The third area that I want to talk about is your front porch. So often porches have columns, rails, or some sort of furniture on them, and those are the perfect place to collect dirt and especially pollen if you're selling your house in the spring. So make sure that those are completely wiped down. Good old magic eraser can come in handy for that. And it's also a good idea to go ahead and paint some of that trim, freshen up that paint, make it look nice. The last thing you want to portray to a prospective home buyer is a sense of neglect. And this all starts right in the front. If you have room for a small chair or even a bench or more than one chair, it's a great idea to accent those with a pretty colorful pillow. Again, we're just adding that little pop of color on the front porch. Of course, you're watching to make sure your colors are coordinating and not clashing. On the front porch, it's also a great idea to have a welcome mat. This is not just pretty, but it's also functional. When there is a welcome mat at your front door, people will automatically wipe their feet. It's just second nature, it's what we do. And that's gonna help, of course, keep the dirt and grime out of your house. Your front porch is also a great place to add a plant or a flower. This can be some something in a container that you've purchased that's already planted, just go pick it up at the hardware store and plop it on your front porch. It's going to add a lot of color and a lot of warmth as well. If you feel like going the extra mile, you could even add window boxes. The fourth tip that I have is to replace the hardware. So this would include things like the light fixtures beside the front door, the lock sets on the door itself. Sometimes this would also include light fixtures. Some people have the brick or the columns beside their driveway, so you want all those to match and look fresh. A lot of times we let those get outdated. House numbers would fall into the same category. Often those things we kind of neglect. So this is a great chance for you to take a fresh look at your hardware and update that. And that's going to bring a nice cohesive look. I think this is something that people would notice more if it's undone than if it is done. Of course, with the hardware, you want to match it to the style or the theme of your house. The fifth area to look at is your shutters. Often these get very sun faded depending on the direction of your house and where the sun rises and sets. This is a place that will fade first on a house. And after living there, sometimes we just don't even notice it anymore. So remember, you've got to put on those buyer goggles, take a fresh look at your shutters. These are so easy to pop off, paint, and then put right back onto your house. You don't have to go out and buy new shutters. Of course you can if you choose to, but painting them is going to bring new life to those as well. And this is a good chance for you to make sure that your colors are coordinating between the pop of color that you've added on your front door and now the shutters. While we're on the subject of shutters, I mentioned windows earlier when we were talking about the front door, but it's worth repeating here again. Make sure all of your windows are sparkly clean. No cobwebs, no watermarks. You want those babies to sparkle. Number 6 is gutters. This is an area that I see home buyers evaluating a lot. First and foremost, are they clogged up with leaves and debris from trees? That's going to be the first thing. You got to get up there, or you got to pay somebody to get up there and get those suckers cleaned out. A really great time for buyers to look at homes is in the rain, and you want to make sure that in the rain your gutters are draining appropriately. Gutters are a great target often for a misthrown baseball or football, so sometimes they tend to get dented, which is going to lead to them getting rusted. So you want to take a look at those. Those are very cheap and easy to replace. So make sure you take care of those. That's a really easy sign for someone to notice and get the wrong idea that you've neglected the care of your home. And remember, that's the last thing that you want to portray to prospective home buyers. While we're on the subject of gutters, let's talk about where they drain. In almost every inspection that I see, the gutters often are draining too close to the foundation of the home. And we all know the damage and destruction that water can cause to the foundation of the home. So you want to make sure that your gutters are draining far from the base of your home. Don't just use the small end of the gutters. You want to extend those way out away from your home and protect the foundation of your home for the future. Lucky number 7 is pressure washing. There are several surfaces that you need to think about. Think about your driveway, your walkway to the house, the front porch, which I've already mentioned, but also the surfaces of your house. You do not want prospective buyers to come up and see algae growing on the side of your house. That is a definite sign to a home buyer that there is maybe some other areas where you have neglected to keep up your home, and it's a huge detractor. If you don't have a pressure washer, and I venture to say that most people don't, that's okay. You probably know someone who does, so borrow one. You can also rent one, and be careful, you may need to pay someone to take care of this task for you, but it is definitely worth the money. While you're pressure washing your driveway and those walkways, you want to check for weeds in those cracks. Often sidewalks and driveways and front porches crack. They're concrete, they just crack. If you're not able to fix those cracks before you put your house on the market, at least kill and pull all of those weeds that are growing up from those cracks. The last thing you want to do is put a spotlight on those cracks when prospective home buyers see weeds growing up through them. The 8th area to consider is, of course, your landscaping. Now, you don't have to go out and spend an arm and a leg on fancy plants and fancy trees and shrubbery, but if you're willing to put in some time and some sweat equity, it's going to make a huge impact on the curb appeal of your house. So you want to make sure that you've pulled all weeds. Of course, you want to trim back any overgrown plants or shrubs. If a shrub has grown up so far that it is blocking the view from the window, you need to do some serious work and cut that thing back. Besides just looking unkept, this also could be a huge safety concern. This is a great time to plant some new greenery around your house. Now, you can plant it in the ground in garden beds or flower beds that are there in front of your house, or you can just use containers. Remember, anything that is planted in the ground will convey. That means it will stay with the house, and it will become the property of the new homeowner when you sell. A fresh layer of mulch also goes a long way in your landscaping. Now, the concern with mulch, of course, is that it's a happy place for termites. One thing to consider is termite-resistant mulch. So you've got some options there. You want to make sure you're looking into that, read up, and be careful on the mulch and the attraction for termites. The number 9 area to think about is your mailbox. Sometimes mailboxes get dinged, dented, rusted, a lot like gutters, but you want to make sure that your mailbox is straight. You want to make sure that it's freshly painted. If you don't want to take the time to do that, go buy a new mailbox. They are really cheap. You want something that's shiny and it's going to look nice in front of your house. This is also a great place to plant some pretty colorful flowers. You can plant a trellis there and really get some beautiful flowers growing up around your mailbox pretty quickly and very inexpensively. The 10th and final thing to consider is not really a specific area or a specific item, but you want to kind of step back and take a look at your property as a whole. What is very pleasing to the eye is symmetry. So that doesn't mean things have to be identical, but if you have one of those tall vertical welcome signs, maybe on one side, it might be a great idea to have a topiary or a flowering tree perhaps on the other side in a container, not a huge one, but the ones that set on the porch that are going to offset each other, and just provide that balance. It brings into mind the idea of a cohesive look, a well put together property. Remember that everything on the outside of your home is like an advertisement. You are wanting to welcome people, prospective buyers, into your home. If they drive by and the shutters are crooked and the gutters are rusted, the mailbox is dangling on its hinges, you're advertising that the inside is probably not something that they want to pursue. So present that outside of your house symmetrical, cohesive, shiny, clean. You've done all that work, and now people drive by and they are so curious and dying to get on the inside and see what your house looks like. That's just a great way to invite prospective buyers into your home with a beautiful curb appeal. Remember that child's drawing that we looked at the beginning? Notice the symmetry. Notice those clean lines. Notice those pretty colors. We knew back then what was pleasing to the eye, and now we know the word for that is curb appeal. So take these 10 items, do another glance of your house, put a little elbow grease and sweat equity, and you're going to see a huge difference in the interest of prospective home buyers. I would love to see some pictures of the front of your house. Show me your curb appeal. Leave your pictures in the comments below, and if you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a like. Also, you can subscribe to my channel and click that bell, and you'll be notified when I post any new videos in the future. If you are selling your house, I've also posted another video on my channel, 7 tips for selling your home. So go on over there and watch that. Thanks for watching.